Monday evening's scrimmage between the As and Giants was a tight pitcher's duel right until its WASNT. Between the two teams, only 10 hits were totaled through regulation. While the offense couldn't do much against the Giants' pitching, the hits they did collect counted. 2 solo home runs helped the game extend to extra innings, where the As managed to jump all over a lefty Tyler Clippard doppelganger and win the game. Click here to revisit the game thread. Hits were a premium in tonight's affair. The As were sent down 1-2-3 in the first 2 innings. However, after falling behind 1-0 to the Giants in the second, Matt Chapman immediately tied the game back up with a solo home run leading off the third. His swing looked somewhat slow, though one could also just say it looked relaxed and easygoing, but the baseball still flew off of his bat, and in a high, glorious arc, landed a good 15 to 20 rows back in the stands in straightaway left field. Each of Stephen Piscotty's at-bats looked very strong, and he made good contact in each of his plate appearances, but Mark Canha was the only other athletic who really produced at the plate for the first 9 innings, prior to becoming a late-inning hero. Canha went 4-4, including a home run that temporarily gave the As the lead in the middle innings, a double, and a single that drove home the decisive run in the 10th. After a slow start in spring training, Canha has really turned things around at the plate, and may have played himself back into the conversation for the final roster spot. Each home run was hit off of former Rangers starter, current journeyman Derek Holland. In his final spring start, Daniel Mengden looked quite impressive. Throwing 54 pitches over 3 innings pitched, Mengden allowed 1 run while striking out 3. While the Giants did push a run across the plate in the third, the run was a result of softly hit balls on defensive swings and uncharacteristically substandard defense from Stephen Piscotty in right field. There was a lot of life and movement on Mengden's offerings, with a rising up in the zone fastball paired with a heavy curveball that had Giants hitters off balance and guessing for the entirety of his outing. With the success of the team likely hinging on the bullpen's ability to keep the game close even if the starting pitcher doesn't have it, today showcased that the relief corps is mostly up to the task. Buchter, Pagan, Hatcher, and Cassia pitched 4 scoreless innings in relief of Mengden, each of them recording at least 1 strikeout in the process. Pagan, didn't appear to have the best control of his offerings in his inning pitch, but he parlayed his wilder offerings into 2 strikeouts. Against Blake Trinan, the Giants' offense broke through in the 8th. Trinan's pitchers were moving sharply, perhaps too sharply for Bruce Maxwell, who took over for Luke Roy at home plate in the middle innings. So, despite Trinan having struck out the side, 2 wild pitches pushed the Giants' second run across the plate, tying the game. The game continued on into extra innings, when the Giants brought in a pitcher named DJ Snelton to quickly and quietly bring the game to the bottom of the 10th. Snelton struck out Matt Chapman to start the frame, but the strikeout pitch went to the backstop and Chapman ended up at first. Then I let my dogs out to go to the bathroom and the As had a 9-2 lead. A quick breakdown pinned a single Chapman to second, and then Mark Canha knocked his aforementioned decisive single that gave the As a 3-2 lead. Semien then walked to load the bases, and Bruce Maxwell singled on a solid line drive to center to drive in 2 more runs. Barreto had a spectacular at-bat, working the count before hitting yet another run-scoring single, and a Chris Davis double cleared the bases immediately after. Before a single out was recorded, the As had an 8-2 lead, with 6 runs scored in the inning. 1 more run would get tacked on before things were over. Despite surrendering a late, close lead, the As showed off all of their strengths in tonight's ball game, and showed how they could use their strengths to win. The team used power and a deep bullpen to keep the game close until the team could finally jump all over a pitcher that didn't have his stuff. Now they just have to do that all long.